Welcome to Rising Parent, your go-to podcast for navigating the delicate balance between work and family life. I'm your host, Vanessa, and we are here to help you create a harmonious blend of career and parenthood. But first, please subscribe to our podcast for more expert advice and to help us continue providing valuable content to support you on your parenting journey. In this episode, Edna and Tim will dive deep into the art of work-life balance, exploring practical tips and strategies to help you juggle your responsibilities and reduce stress. They'll discuss everything from setting boundaries to prioritizing self-care. So grab your favorite beverage and let's embark on this journey to a more balanced and fulfilling life.
Okay, so work-life balance. Who hasn't struggled with it? It's like, we're all juggling, and sometimes those balls feel way heavier than they should.
Right.
But today, we're diving deep into this with some help from the Raising Children Network. They've got this guide. We'll unpack it, and hopefully you'll leave with some new strategies to kind of conquer this whole work-life balance thing.
It's interesting. Even though this guide's for parents, a lot of what they're saying applies to everyone. Trying to find balance. Kids or no kids.
Yeah, for sure. So they start by defining, work-life balance, and it's deeper than I thought. It's not just like, splitting your time perfectly between work and family. It's about having enough energy, mental and emotional energy for everything, hobbies, friends, even that to-do list that never ends.
Yeah, and there's actually research that shows that a balanced family life can actually help prevent burnout at work. Yeah, it seems counterintuitive. It makes sense if you think about it, because if you're drained and stressed at home, it'll bleed into your work,
Totally. And speaking of home, the guide has some really great advice for parents on how to carve out quality time with their kids, even when things are super busy. And one thing that I thought was really cool is that they say that even just short bursts of really focused attention can be way more impactful than hours of just being in the same room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's actually research on that shows that short focused interactions, reading book together, even just having a real conversation can have a huge impact on, a child's development. It's all about being present, putting the phone away, giving your full attention. And you know what? That applies to way more than just parenting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Think about your relationships, with friends or your partner. Even taking a few minutes to really connect without distractions can change everything.
Absolutely, yeah. So the guide then has this exercise. It says to list literally everything you need and want to do in a week.
Oh, wow.
Work, family, chores, that yoga class you keep meaning to go to.
Everything, huh?
Everything. It's about getting a real picture of where your time and energy is going. And then they say, and I think this is key, to actually track how much time you're spending on each thing. Because our perception and reality don't always match up, do they?
Oh, no, not even close sometimes.
And this is where I thought it got really smart. They say, analyze your budget.
Oh, interesting.
Because money plays a huge role, right? But maybe you're working extra hours to afford a certain lifestyle, but it's eating into your family time. Or maybe there are things you could outsource or adjust to free up time and energy.
It's all connected.
It is. And then, get this, they dive into strategies for different family structures.
Oh, wow.
Because, one size doesn't fit all.
No, not at all.
So they talk about partners working together to make a plan, co-parents figuring out schedules, money stuff, all that. And even, single parents finding those support systems, which can be so, so crucial.
Yeah, for sure. What about for people whose jobs don't have much flexibility, shift work, or if they just have a heavy workload?
Yeah, great question. They talk about that too, and they emphasize prioritizing quality time, showing appreciation, and keeping those communication channels open with family. So it's about making the most of the time you do have.
I like that.
And speaking of making the most, this is where I got really interested. They actually walk you through the steps to negotiating family-friendly work arrangements. And I think this is huge, even beyond, parenting.
Yeah, totally.
So step one, know your rights, check your agreements, your contracts, see what's already there. And if you're in a union, talk to them. They can be a huge help.
Yeah, for sure.
Step 2, put it in writing, like a clear request. And here's a tip. Aim a little higher than what you actually want. Just in case. Give yourself some wiggle room.
That's smart.
And then when you're, making your case, really highlight the benefits for both of you, you and your employer.
Okay.
That's where doing your research on company policies can be really helpful.
Right.
It's all about framing it as a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe working from home a few days a week would actually make you more productive or less stressed, which helps them too. Or a more flexible schedule means you can take on more responsibility.
Exactly. And I love this. They even say, try to anticipate what your employer's concerns might be.
Oh, that's good.
And come prepared with solutions. So, if they're worried about communication with remote work, say, hey, I'll schedule regular check-ins or use a project management tool.
Be proactive.
Exactly. And another smart move, suggest a review period. See how it's working. It shows you're serious about making it work. Okay, so we've talked about defining work-life balance, figuring out where you're at, and even, how to negotiate. But what about those of us who can't change our hours or negotiate? Are there still things we can do to find more balance?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh,
because there are. And we'll dive into those strategies in part 2 of our deep dive into work-life balance.
Yeah.
So, when we're talking about changing things to find more balance, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Like we need to change everything to see results.
Oh,
But the guide really emphasizes small changes, like to your daily habits, little things that add up over time.
Oh, I love that because it takes the pressure off.
Right.
It's not about being perfect, just about making, small improvements that work for you. So where do we start with these small changes? Well, the guide breaks it down into 3 areas: organizing your work, leaving work at work, and shifting your perspective.
Let's start with organization. One of the most useful tips is to tackle the hard stuff early. When you have the most energy, it's easy to put it off.
Yeah.
Those big tasks.
Yeah.
But getting them done first can really set you up for a better day, less stress.
Oh, absolutely. I'm the queen of procrastination. But you know what else they say? That I think is really important, especially now when we're always connected. Setting boundaries around after-hours work. It's just so easy to blur those lines,
Yeah.
Especially when you're working from home or if you have a job where you're always on call. But those emails can usually wait.
They can.
Yeah.
And along those same lines, they also talk about having a dedicated workspace.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's, just a corner of your kitchen table.
Right.
Having a space that's just for work helps you separate work life and home life. So when you're done working, you can walk away.
Literally.
Yeah, that visual cue can make a big difference. And speaking of being done with work, the guide has some tips on how to mentally detach at the end of the day.
Oh, take a few minutes to review what you got done before you close your laptop. Or even have a little ritual that signals that you're switching gears.
Yeah.
From work to home.
I love the idea of a ritual. It could be anything, really. Changing your clothes, listening to your favorite music, or podcasts on your way home. Even just, taking a few deep breaths to clear your head.
Yeah. It's about intentionally creating a break.
Exact.
And, another one of their tips that I really like is to connect with family on your way home. Even if it's just a quick call, it helps you, mentally shift gears.
Yeah, little things like that can make a big difference. And then the guide talks about shifting your perspective during the workday. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget about the bigger picture.
Right.
But they suggest taking a moment every now and then to think about, your loved ones, your passions, the things that are important to you outside of work.
It's like a mindfulness exercise, right? Just to remind yourself what you're working for, what makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly. It can be really grounding, especially when you're stressed.
Yeah. They even suggest bringing your family to work events, if that's possible.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. It's a way to humanize work, and it can just be fun to share.
Yeah.
Those different parts of your life.
I like that.
So we've talked about organizing work, leaving work behind, and, shifting our perspective.
Yeah.
But even with all the best strategies, life happens, right? Sometimes we feel totally out of balance, stressed. What do we do then?
You're right. Life does happen. And the guy talks about this. They remind us that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It means, you recognize that you don't have to do it all alone.
Yeah, and sometimes Just talking to someone who gets it can make a world of difference. A friend, family member, therapist, career counselor even. Having that support can help you, find your way back to a place of balance.
Exactly. And, speaking of different perspectives and challenges, remember we said?
Yeah.
That this guide, even though it's for parents,
Yeah.
it has good advice for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, in part 3, we'll dive into that.
Yeah.
How to apply these ideas to different situations. Find what works for you, no matter what your life looks like.
Going through these past 2 parts, talking about work-life balance and all the strategies in this guide, I realized something. These principles, they're pretty universal.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't matter if you're, a parent or a student, entrepreneur, retired, whatever. Everyone wants balance. It just looks different for everybody.
Right. And that's what I think this guy does so well. It takes these big concepts and breaks them down into smaller, more manageable steps. And it starts by asking you, what does work even mean to you?
Yeah, because it's not always a 9 to 5, right?
Right.
It could be taking care of someone, running a business, volunteering, anything that takes up a lot of your time and energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once you figure that out, what work is for you, then you got to figure out what else is important. Your relationships, your hobbies, taking care of yourself, all the pieces that make up a good life.
Right. And then comes the hard part, actually looking at your life. Honestly.
Yeah.
Are you stretched too thin? Are you ignoring what you need? Are there things you're doing that just drain you and don't bring you joy?
Yeah, you got to be honest. See where those imbalances are. And like the guy says, tracking your time can really help. Even just for a week or two. You might be surprised at how you're actually spending your time.
Oh, yeah. I did that once.
Yeah.
And realized I was spending way too much time on social media.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It was an eye-opener. But once you see it, where you're out of balance, then you can start to think about how to change things.
Yeah, that's when it gets fun.
Right. So maybe it's about setting boundaries, learning to say no, delegating.
Or maybe it's about, changing your priorities.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to let go of things, even if they were important before, to make room for new things that matter more now.
Right. And I think it's important to say that the challenges and the solutions, they're going to be different for everyone.
Of course.
Someone with a super demanding job will have different issues than, a student who's working part-time or someone who's freelancing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where, being flexible is key, like the guy talks about. There's no one right answer. It's about trying things out and finding what works for you.
Yeah. And I think something else that's really important, no matter what your life looks like, is self-care.
Oh, definitely.
It's so easy to forget about ourselves when we're busy, taking care of everything else. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we'll burn out.
Absolutely. And self-care doesn't have to be, a big thing. It can be just taking a few minutes to meditate, read a book, go for a walk, anything that makes you feel good.
Right? Little things to be kind to yourself because you deserve it. And you can handle anything when you're feeling good. So I guess wrapping up this whole deep dive into work-life balance, I think the main thing I've learned is that it's not about, reaching some perfect state.
Yeah.
It's more like a dance, a constant back and forth, adjusting as our lives change.
Yeah, I like that. A dance. Because it's true. There'll be times when we feel more balanced and times when we don't. But the important thing is to keep trying, to keep learning, and to be kind to ourselves along the way.
Yeah, and the best part is it's up to us to decide what that balance looks like. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about what feels good, what feels right for you.
Absolutely. So we encourage you to keep thinking about these things, keep exploring, and keep finding what works for you because it's worth it. More joy, more energy, more meaning in every part of your life.
Yeah, well said. So until next time, keep searching for that balance, keep diving deep, and embrace the beautiful mess of it all.
And that's a wrap. We hope this episode has inspired you to take steps towards a more balanced and fulfilling life. Remember, it's all about finding what works best for you and your family. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more expert advice and to help us continue providing valuable content to support you on your parenting journey. Until next time, take care and keep balancing